Here at CNET, we're always looking ahead to the next technology, the next gadget, the next app. We don't waste a lot of time getting sentimental about last year's tech, or even that thing that was crazy hot just a month ago. But at some point, you have to turn around and marvel at all the technology that our lives used to revolve around that are now obsolete. And I guess you're wondering about what gadgets we use today that our kids will only read about in history books, assuming they still have history books. I'm Donald Bell, and in this top 5, I'll be counting down the 5 technologies we use now that will soon be obsolete. Starting off at number 5, the home printer. Now maybe this is just wishful thinking because I seriously hate these things. You plug them in over USB and spend the next 20 minutes chasing down the driver. You try to set them up over a protected Wi-Fi network and it's like defusing a bomb. As we move away from conventional computers and towards a life where there's an always connected screen in our pockets all the time, the compulsion to print something out at home will disappear and that flashing low ink indicator will just go unheeded until you mercifully pull the plug. Coming in at number 4, keyboards. You laugh now, but take a look around. Today's kids are growing up with iPads as their first computers, and not only are they totally at home on a touchscreen, but features like predictive text and autocorrect are as expected as caps lock. Also, has anyone noticed how dictation software has become really good in the past few years, and is now part of both Android and iOS? Now you'll have to pry my crusty keyboard from my cold dead hands, but it won't change the fact that the computer keyboard, as we know it, is going the way of the typewriter. You can throw the mouse in there with it. At number 3, hard drives, at least hard disk drives, those spinning, whirring hard drives that are still found in the majority of computers these days. Now you can buy a 1 terabyte hard drive right now for under $80, but who cares? Your music collection's out on Spotify, your photos are all on Flickr, and your documents are all on Google Drive. For everything else, solid state drives are quickly becoming the norm. They're fast and they're silent. It's like the hard disk was taken out by a ninja. But at least it will be a relatively painless death compared to this next guy who I think is still in denial. At number 2, the pocket camera. Now that it's almost impossible to buy a cell phone that isn't a smartphone, everyone suddenly has a decent camera on them at all times, and they don't really need another one. Now sure, the lens may not be as great and the storage may not be much, but it's always on you and you can always use it to blast out an Instagram of your lunch in the time it takes you to pick up your fork. What's sad is that there's actually some amazing compact cameras out there right now, but unless something happens to suddenly kill off the smartphone, the pocket camera is going the way of the dodo bird. Now before we get to the number 1 soon-to-be obsolete technology on this list, let's take a moment of silence for the gadgets that have recently fallen into obscurity. I still miss my Zune. Alright, and now, the number 1 technology we live with today but will soon disappear, sooner than you think, optical discs. DVDs, CDs, video games, even Blu-rays. Not only are we streaming and downloading most things these days, but the big media companies would be all too happy to stop manufacturing a resellable disc that they can't wrap their DRM around. On the plus side, these things weren't such a great format to begin with. I mean, how many movie nights have been ruined by a hairline scratch caused by just putting the DVD on a table? It's enough to make you yearn for the days of VHS. So there you go, 5 technologies you'll be telling your grandkids about, assuming you can get them to take off their Google goggles and pay attention to your old boring stories for more than 5 minutes. For more ways to waste everyone's time, head over to top5.cnet.com. I'm Donald Bell. Thanks for watching.